Today is an exciting day because I am on my way to pick up a 1000cc with 202 horsepower motorcycle from Dumke and Lutt here in Hamburg. But I am a beginner when it comes down to riding, so the big question is a 1000cc bike suitable for a beginner? Let me put this video into perspective, because I assume that you just clicked on this video for the bike and just don't know who I am. I have my motorcycle driver's license and my Yamaha MT-07 for a little over a year. And I have about 10,000 kilometers on my MT-07, so I am still a fairly new rider. And as such, you should see this video, a beginner's perspective on a liter bike. So I just got back from my very first ride with this GSX1000R. Yeah, and I just wanted to give you my very first impressions on this bike. Is this a bike for beginners? Hell no! The first couple of things that I have noticed is, first off, the weight. I don't know the exact number right now, but I will superimpose it somewhere here. It is way more heavier than my MT-07, which is really noticeable. Furthermore, the whole front, the fairings, is so big and it doesn't move when you want to maneuver the bike on a parking spot, for instance, and that messes up your head so much because it is heavy, and then you turn left or right just to tiptoe a little to the front or to the right just to move it a little bit, and the fairings are not moving at all, and that's messing up your head so much, and you think okay, I don't move this bike at all. Furthermore, it is also a little bit higher, so I'm actually tiptoeing. It is heavy, it is higher, so everything feels so difficult to handle when you're on the parking lot. And then when you're on the streets, it is so intimidating having all that weight, all the power. Yeah, and next, I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted. My lower back is killing me. My wrists are killing me as well. Obviously, this is a race bike and not a naked bike, so you lean forward quite a bit, and as soon as you're on the bike, if you're not relaxed, of course, you grip the handle way too much, and therefore all the exhaustion is way higher than usual. Obviously, you're not supposed to manhandle the handlebar, and you are supposed to just grip it lightly. But yeah, it was the first ride, so it was very exhausting on my wrists, on my lower back, and I'm not an unfit person. I do martial arts, I go running every day, but it was exhausting. My lower back is killing me, my hands are killing me, I don't know what to do. I'm struggling to hold the camera actually. First impressions, awesome bike, very intimidating. You need lots of respect for this bike. I was riding 2 hours for, I don't know, I need to check my phone how many kilometers it was, but great bike, very intimidating, very heavy, very exhausting. But before I continue rambling, that was the first impression. Let's go over to all the specs of this bike. 203 kilograms ready to ride, 825mm seat height, 202 horsepower, 4-cylinder 1000cc engine, Brembo 4-piston disc twin with ABS, Bridgestone RS10, adjustable inverted fork from Shover, quick shifter, blipper, and lots of other electronic add-ons, of which I have no idea how to use it. So don't forget, this is a review from a beginner's perspective. And speaking of beginner, as I've mentioned before, I have lots of respect for this bike, and thankfully it has riding modes and traction control. And with those, I kept my training wheels on and I only rode in C mode and traction control 6 of 10. I am fully aware that I did not test the full potential of this bike, but then again, this is only going to be a beginner's perspective on the GSX1000R, and I definitely did not want to crash a 20k euro bike and hurt myself. After riding for a couple of days, I definitely got more comfortable with the bike, but I never got to a this is fun kind of state. I was able to deal with my wrist pains by gripping the tank with my legs and holding on to my core rather than resting on the handlebar too much. Nevertheless, there are a lot of vibrations in the handlebar, which are pretty visible in the mirrors when you're standing still. And these vibrations, at least when you compare them to my Yamaha MT-07, are pretty exhausting even if you grip the handlebars just lightly. And while riding the bike feels like a workout, it is still fun to ride the bike, of course. The quick shifter and blipper are pretty eye-opening, and I can understand why people love them, especially when you want to ride fast. But since I just got a little bit better with rev matching, I just have way too much fun rev matching by myself and having this 3-part action of throttle, clutch and shifting. It just feels more connected to the bike in my humble opinion. But I totally get why a quick shifter lets you concentrate on more important stuff during a race, for instance. And race is actually a good topic. With this bike you get so much attention that people always assume you want to ride fast or race. For a person like me who A doesn't want to ride this bike fast and B rather prefers understatement, this was a rather strange experience. I actually had a couple of people stop next to me and wanting to race, or were just tailgating me so close with the assumption that I would break all the speed laws. And personally, I did not care for that too much. Also, I did not care for the engine sound. I'm basically in two camps. The camp of loud pipes save lives, but also in the camp it's about the quality of noise and not the loudness, because I just don't want to annoy people too much. And to me this engine and pipe is too loud and not sounding very attractive. This is just a personal preference of course, but I prefer a deep sound with some sort of modulation. To me this is just a very loud scream, which is due to the 4 cylinders I believe. All of these were a lot of negatives from my side of a beginner who rides a naked bike. But please don't get me wrong, for the right rider this bike is literally a beast with lots of awesome features. Conclusion. Should a beginner ride the Suzuki GSX1000R or any 1000cc bike? Hell no, that bike is way too powerful and way too expensive. Just imagine dropping the bike by accident in the parking lot. So is this bike a great bike for an intermediate or experienced rider? That is something that you need to figure out by yourself by test riding it. But I leave you with this, it is more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. So considering that you predominantly ride the bike in the city or on the countryside, on which in Germany you have a speed limit of 100 kph, I would argue that a 1000cc bike is overkill. And speaking of overkill, this bike costs almost 20k euros, which is justified of course, but I always worried parking it or worried to scratch up the tank. And I love my MT-07 and I take care of it as much as I can. But if I have to baby it or worry about it every time I get a coffee, that would take away the fun real fast. Bottom line, I get why people love sports bikes, and this is an incredible but intimidating bike. All of the power, all of the bells and whistles are awesome. But you need lots of respect for the bike and for the road. Which of course I got both. But I rather stay with the naked bike, which is my MT-07, just for its versatility, comfort and ease of mind. As I said before, it is way more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow.
And for those of you who drive a car, just go out and ride a go-kart or a golf cart and compare it to your faster car. You will see that it is way more fun to race around with a go-kart rather than your way more faster car. And now I leave the question up to you. Which was your first bike and which bike are you riding now? Just leave it in the comment section below. And if you have any other questions, please comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. And please feel free to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell icon so you won't miss the next video. Thanks to Dumke and Lutt for letting me test this GSX1000R, and thanks to all of you for watching. I see you in the next video. So this video was all about the beginner's perspective, and I actually learned a lot by riding this very powerful bike for the first time. And that is why Skillshare supports this video. Skillshare is basically like Spotify but for learning. And to quote Skillshare, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes in design, business, technology and more. Unfortunately, you won't find any classes about motorbikes or riding a motorcycle. But I know that a couple of you have asked me how I do these YouTube videos, or how they can start editing, or how I make my photos on Instagram. And on Skillshare you will find thousands of online classes about video editing, videography and photography, for instance. And with this link you can check out all of the classes for 2 months for free. And afterwards it costs 11 euros, at least in Germany. But of course, if you don't like Skillshare, you can cancel the subscription before the trial period ends. But just by signing up for this trial period, you actually support the channel quite a lot. And again, thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video.